Yes.
Right. Yeah. All right, we're good to go, bro.
Yo, I'm so mad the last episode got cut, bro. It's too.
Yeah, because that was some classic shit.
You were going crazy. Casey was like,
Down to 2, down to 1. It's game. Yes!
This one is crushed.
MC Cannibal, rap Hannibal. Here to change the game, mainframe, all y'all programmable. Coaching on tracks, balling like a paper like Phil. I'm obvious if real, my rhymes convict them hell.
welcome to the Faithful Fan Show. I'm your host, Tony Cook, joined today by Julian Petway, the homie. What's up?
What up, Tom?
Jay. Well, honestly, long time no see, sarcastically, because I just did an episode with you.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties.
Yeah, fans, we apologize. We were supposed to get an episode in before Game 6, and we was talking heavy about the finals and, what we thought would happen. JP, you want to tell them what you thought before Game 6? Like, you was thinking Tatum was taking him to the promised land.
Listen, I was not, I'm not going to cap on it. I was knocking Curry. I was trying to shade his greatness. I thought Tatum was going to get it done. I was like, and I mentioned because people were like, oh, you're a Laker fan, but Tatum showed the respect with the wristband and his Mamba disciple, his whole factor. Like, so that was my, I was driven behind that, but just didn't work out like that, man. It didn't work out like that. Curry and the boys, they got that shit done.
And there's one thing we can say about Tatum, though, as of right now, he is the player in the NBA that imitates Kobe's game the most, for sure. Like, his pivot, his footwork, his all-around game, offense and defense. You got to give it up to Tatum, bro. He did work all the way through the playoffs and through the finals, if you ask me. So big ups to Tatum. Big ups to Tatum.
Yeah. All the Celtics, man, they gave a good battle this postseason, and they took out a lot of teams that didn't think they were going to take out. A lot of people had those other teams taking them out, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
They went through Brooklyn, they got through Giannis, they got through the Miami. So I think that they did pretty good, but they just fell short.
And other players that stepped up, I'm not going to let this go unsaid. Other players that stepped up on the Celtics, Jaylen Brown stepped up big time in the finals. Al Horford stepped up big time. I feel like all playoffs, he was getting it in, bro. Like, he was ready for his ring, bro. That's the one dude I feel kind of bad, like, because he's older. He's been in the league for a while, and, if I had to say a Celtic, I would like to see win a championship before he went out. Al Horford's put in the work, bro. So we got to shout out to Al.
But the thing about Al Horford is, look at his success in college. He won 2 or 3 at Florida, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Noah, Corey Brewer, all those guys.
Yeah.
So he's a champion at heart, man. So like you said, it hurts to not see a guy like that get a ring.
Yeah, man. But okay. But we're going to we talked a little bit about the losers. And it's only, honestly, fans, it's only right. Episode 100 of the Faithful Fan Show, I have my boy JP on here to talk some hardcore basketball. So we're going to give it to you. And we talked about the losers.
Shout out Faithful Fan, man, for the 100th episode, bro. 100, baby.
Let's go. And y'all better go
like Wilt. Hey, put that sign up like Wilt, Tone. Put that as the preview for this video, man.
Wilt Chamberlain. We got that Wilt. Hey.
100, baby.
And honestly, fans, go like and subscribe. Keep the machine going, y'all. Like, we got to get out here. We got to get eyes on this show as much as possible. But
my dream is to wake up one day and see Tone sitting across from either Skip or Shannon or Stephen A.
Yo, and the whole time they're talking,
I know one day he's gonna get an interview with one of those guys and he's gonna go at it with them.
Yo, and the whole time they're talking, I'm gonna be like, Cat.
I just don't think you'll go at it with Skip because you guys love the Cowboys too much.
You do. We love the Cowboys, but he's not as objective as me. And he's too hard on LeBron. He's too hard on LeBron for me. Like, that's the part where we would go back and forth. But enough of all these other shows. We're gonna get right back to the Faithful Fan Show and talk we talked about the losers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the winners. Let's talk about Steph Curry and what he did in Game 6, bro. Like, I didn't actually get to watch the game live, but I watched the highlights, and that boy was cooking. And his celebrations, he said he put it at the ring finger, dog.
He kept doing the sweep thing all series.
He pulled all of his celebrations out, dog. And it was a great way to end the series because, that put a stamp on, like you said, the game before he didn't hit a 3. So maybe his MVP for the finals was in question to some people like JP. But he put those words to rest, Jay. He was the MVP of these finals, correct? Or was it Wiggins? I wish people heard last episode, but we got.
I did have. I mean, all I'm saying is just like Wiggins in that series. I mean, overall, the whole season from start to finish, Curry was definitely the MVP. That's my point. But Wiggins in that series definitely deserved an honors or close to getting that as well. But that last game, that game 6, what Curry did, and I want to say because that game 5, that was the first game he didn't hit a 3, right?
Yeah, broke his
so
streak,
that right there was the one thing that I'm like, the Celtics might be in trouble because he had such a low game on that game 5, you know?
Yeah, very true. And great players always rebound. They always rebound after. And he broke a big streak for him too. That was a big deal. It was kind of overlooked because there's a lot of stuff going on in the finals, but that's a big deal. Like how many games? It was like over 100 games, right?
Yeah, like 151 or something like that, right?
3-pointer. Yeah, that's wild. But like you said, to your point, Jay, if Iguodala won a Finals MVP, Wiggins could have definitely won a Finals MVP. Like, you know what I mean? Because the defense he was.
Yeah, because my comparison was like, look at Andre Iguodala on a team like that. He got MVP on that team. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Wiggins did similar things and had some big games when Curry and Clay were down. Wiggins really stepped up. And like we talked about, like, you know, Curry does get doubled. It's obviously the premier focus of the defense is guarding Curry, but you do need that guy to cash out and to win those championships. And when you don't have that guy, everybody's like, oh, talking smack, like you couldn't get it done. But I just don't like, I wouldn't take Wiggins for granted because he really did cash out. He was really there to finish those possessions for those guys.
For sure. I agree. And out of all the players besides Curry that had to cash out, I think he did it the most consistently throughout the finals. Like, because Poole was kind of hit or miss. Clay was kind of hit or miss. You know, we know where Draymond was. Draymond's best game was the last game. So,
yeah.
But Wiggins, like you said, was the most consistent besides Curry. So, but we going to go. Curry did win Finals MVP. And with that being said, Jay, is he right there next? Because him and LeBron both got 4 chips. And all that talk about Curry never getting MVP, it's over. Like a Finals MVP is over. So does this put Curry, if we're doing a top 10, neck and neck with LeBron? JP, you have the floor.
No, it doesn't put him neck and neck because there's stats out there that I'm gonna tell you what. Listen.
No.
LeBron has like 9 or 8 more first teams, way more career points. Like all I'm gonna say is this: Curry is now at the table and at the conversation with those great guys for sure. He solidified his spot at that table.
I agree.
But it's like, I mean, even when people talk about Kobe and Jordan, do you know what I mean? Like, people still not Kobe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they not Kobe. Like, they don't even give him his credit sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, like, they don't want to give LeBron his credit. So, like, I just look at it in their own facets. Like, Curry changed the game with his 3-point shot in his range. You know, the Warriors, that style of play, them playing from the 3-point line, like, that elevated the NBA for big men. You couldn't have 4s and 5s out there that couldn't guard the shooters.
Changed it from inside out to outside in, low key, you know?
So I would say this, like how much impact Jordan had on the NBA with his dunking and how flashy his dunking was and how people would go crazy for that. Curry has had that same impact with his 3-point shot.
Yes.
Like little kids nowadays grow up, they like fast breaks. Like I was talking to my boy, he coaches, like, they don't even want to do a layup, 1-on-0 layup. They're going out and pull it out, shoot the 3 on a fast break. You know what I mean? Because they grow up watching Curry. So I would say he's impacted the game and changed the game with his 3-point shot tremendously.
But is it a bigger impact on the game? Like, do kids look at Curry more than they look at LeBron, would you say? Because I think we agree that LeBron is the better player all time. I agree with you.
Yeah, no, but
LeBron's better.
Well, you say the kids, and I think they do. I think they do. I think kids do. I think that's his thing too. And his, like, I was talking to my boys yesterday, my team, on my way to my game, and we were talking about how Curry is similar to a Tim Duncan-esque type player where he's not like a LeBron. He doesn't need all the attention. He's not trying to be the most endorsed player. You know what I mean? Like, he rocks with Under Armour. Before Under Armour, nobody was really with Under Armour.
Yeah,
like,
true.
You know, his style is so humble, and his style is so he has such a wholesome family type style, and his whole persona that you cannot hate on Curry. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna pop it off. He's not gonna be negative. He's just gonna go out there and kill you with this shot.
Which is honestly probably why KD was able to come right in, fit right in. Like Curry for that season kind of handed him the reins. You know what I mean?
Curry is about his team and getting those rings. And the one thing I'll say about this is like, man, like out of all the champions, like when you talk about LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan, to watch Curry go down the last 2 seasons and Klay to be out, and for them to be so high with their dynasty that they had, for them to fall and watch all the haters, including myself, like haters, like, you know what I mean? Like
it was a rough 2 years too. It was a rough 2 years.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to watch, and then to see him rise back up and get there, it's like, man, like you could feel that chip on his shoulder. Like he put that middle finger up to all his haters. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I'm gonna give him that. But I mean, to be with LeBron, I just think that he needs to be a little bit more all around, like, because you got to look how great LeBron's numbers are. So he's very close because of his rings. But I'll say this, like the way Michael Jordan impacted the game with his dunk, like no other players impacted the game like Steph Curry beside up until Michael Jordan with his dunks. Yeah. Like the way Steph Curry's done with his shot.
So you got to give Steph Curry his praise for that. But I think we both agree LeBron James is a better player in the time rank. And also like you said,
slightly, only for the few things that LeBron does that Curry doesn't do.
Yeah, and then also LeBron is like different from Curry. Curry has definitely had the same system, same boys around him for like he's had a really well-oiled machine around him. LeBron's been jumping ship, switching islands, and doing his thing. Like he's almost a one-man wrecking crew. Not to like dismiss all the greats that he's played with, Dwayne Wade, Kyrie, but everywhere LeBron goes, he's the focal point. So I think that's a big difference, bro.
LeBron gets the most out of guys. Like look at J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert. They've been at stops with like some great players, but the difference is LeBron gets those type of guys to become champions.
Yes, sir.
And I think that but Curry has that same effect in the sense of when you go to the Warriors, you check your ego at the door, bro, because if Steph Curry's able to be humble, like who are you not to be humble, bro, and be about the squad? You know what I mean?
Very true. Very true.
So that's the one thing I do. I have a lot of respect for Curry about that.
No, dope. Awesome, JP. I appreciate you coming full circle and giving him his praise.
Yeah.
Because before the Warriors won, it was like, nah.
But I did say, I was like, this game 6 is gonna be a deciding factor in a lot of things.
You did say that. And like we said earlier, Celtics gonna be around for a minute. They got a squad on them. You know, they got a squad. So next year is gonna be interesting. But before we get to next season and everything that we feel the Lakers should do, dog, the episode that got cut because no audio was epic. JP dropped his top 10 players all time. And he shook up the world, dude. I need you to drop it again, bro, because like KC dropped his episode ago, and you and him were pretty similar halfway through, and then it got crazy. But I want to hear, have the fans hear your top 10 all time. I want to.
All right, so my top 10, I got Kobe, Michael Jordan, Shaq, LeBron, Kareem, Tim Duncan.
At 6, right? Tim Duncan at 6, right? Tim Duncan at 6. Okay.
That's 6. Tim Duncan is 6. Yep. Dirk is 7.
Woo!
Carmelo is 8.
Woo!
Did I tell you? I didn't tell you Allen Iverson.
You did say Allen Iverson last week. You did.
I did. So Carmelo's 8.
You said last time that Allen Iverson was before Melo.
Yeah, so, no, he is. No, let me start over because I think you have the count right. You don't have the count right. Look, okay. Kobe 1, Michael Jordan 2, Shaq 3, LeBron 4, Kareem 5, Allen Iverson 6,
got you.
Tim Duncan 7, Dirk is 8, Carmelo is 9, and Magic Johnson is 10.
So fans, this is where for me, JP, I love your list because it's like we said earlier, this is your list. But how do you put Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, Carmelo Anthony, and Allen Iverson before Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard of all time, arguably?
No, he is the greatest point guard of all time. So when you ask me who's the greatest point guard of all time, I will tell you Magic Johnson's number 1. But the reason why I have those players above him on my list all time is because, one, Magic Johnson had the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like, he came into the Los Angeles Lakers, even as a rookie, his team was ready to win a championship. So his supporting cast and his backing is a lot more higher and attractive, yeah. But when you look at those other players I have above, like, they didn't have the same sorry about that. They didn't have my bad. I got a call. I had to ignore it.
It's cool. It's cool.
But yeah, no, they didn't have the same type of the cast. They didn't come into the same type of situations, and I think that they did more with less. And I think individually, when I look at those players, like, they're better players than Magic Johnson. Like, Magic Johnson was great for his passing. You know what I mean? He had a little bit of shot. He was physical.
But his jumper was, let's not get him mistaken. His jumper was kind of dirty looking, bro.
His jumper, but listen, you're telling me his jumper was better than Carmelo?
No, I'm saying his jumper was not good. I'm saying Magic's jumper was not good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he wasn't a better scorer. Like, when you look at those other guys that have above him, like, the scouting reports and defense guys, like, when you play those other guys, like, they're like, damn, we got to stop this guy. Like, we got to hold this guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Magic is like a guy where you kind of play off of him because you don't want him to make his teams better. You don't want him to get his team involved and get them rolling on fast breaks and passing and talking smack. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's more easier to stop Magic Johnson than it is to those guys.
No, you're right in a lot of ways. Like, Magic Johnson did have the plate served for him already. And if you have, I don't know if you watched the show Winning Time on HBO Max. It's like,
I haven't seen it. Oh, the Lakers one? Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
So good, bro. You will love it. You will love that show. But it shows you
I
that.
I do have HBO Max too, and I gotta watch that.
Watch it. I promise you, it's the best. Honestly, that's the best show I've watched all year. So, like, seriously.
Okay.
But what they show in that is when he goes in there, there's a team already ready. Like, Kareem is that boy already. You know, they already had what's his name?
James Worthy.
Yeah, James. No, not yet. But they had what's the point guard that they had before Magic? I think it's Norton or something like that. I forgot his name, but honestly, that shows that Magic Johnson already had a team, and that's a good argument. But what I'm not gonna let you do, did you not put Curry in the top 10 after we talked him up this whole time? Bro.
Yeah, bro. Like, this is what I
can't give it to him. You still can't give it to him, dog.
No, I'm gonna say this. It's like, he's the best shooter of all time. He's the best shooter.
Oh, here we go again, Jay.
He's the best shooter of all time. But you know what? Okay, let me. Okay, since he's won this ring, the one person that I would take out of my top 10 for Curry.
Let me hear.
I would have to take out Dirk Nowitzki.
Okay, all right, and that's fair. Not
you know
Melo.
What I mean?
Not Melo.
He would be Dirk. So then in that case, he would be my seventh. Actually, I'd put Curry above Duncan. He'd be my sixth.
Okay.
After this championship he just won.
And Melo's still in there.
Honestly, I'm gonna give him this too. This was like the first one I seen where he didn't have a Durant, where his team was not really that good as with the other teams he had, and it was really on him. And he came out, he served. Yep. He served, he delivered.
And you hit me up right after the game. You're like, you know what, dog? Curry did his thing. I can't even Jay hit me with like, I can't even
That boy went out there like, you knew right when the game started. I'm like, oh, it's over. I'm like, there's no chance. Like I talked all that smack to Casey and Tone, and I'm like, bro, I hope they don't call me anytime soon.
yo, because he went off and he knew people was talking about him for that game. He came to take it all in that game 6. So you got to respect him for that. So you do put Curry in there. You take
I will.
Dirk out. You leave Melo in. So fans, JP really rocks with Melo. That's his guy.
Bro, let me just say one thing about Melo, okay?
Please let us know.
When Melo was in Denver, okay, he was competing with Kobe for the scoring titles.
Very true.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Carmelo was when LeBron went from high school to the NBA, Carmelo went to Syracuse the first year and won the whole championship, NCAA.
He's a champion.
Carmelo is like, and then the only thing that Carmelo did was he didn't go to Miami with Dwayne Wade and LeBron. He took the money and went to New York. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only knock people could say about Carmelo. But then you see when he goes to like Team USA, he's like one of the leading scorers, and like he has some of the greatest stats on Team USA with the best players in the world around him.
And still, even last season, bro, he got to the Lakers, and he could have been like halfway through. He kind of burnt out, but halfway through the season, he was like 6th man of the year caliber, bro.
Bro, when you talk about like what James Harden is right now to these kids, like what Carmelo was back in the day when I first seen Carmelo out of Syracuse, and when I watched him go to Denver, like, come on, bro, braids Carmelo, like, man, that boy was nasty.
Not too many can hang with cornrow Carmelo, bro. Like Kobe was getting everything he could handle in the playoffs from them Nuggets, bro. When they had J.R. Smith, him, you know what I'm saying? They were
Kobe was Chauncey Billups, Kenyon Martin.
Kobe was low-key getting bullied in the post by Melo a lot, bro. If people don't remember,
Melo's bigger than Kobe. The only person I've ever seen really like bully Carmelo is LeBron. That's the only person.
Yeah. Because LeBron's just got a little more athleticism, but
he's just a better version of Carmelo. He's a better version of Carmelo.
I agree.
And so like it just shows you, it's like when you talk about those great players that never won because of Jordan, like Carmelo was another one of the cases that he couldn't get past Kobe. You know what I mean? Like he had a team, he couldn't get past Kobe, bro.
Yep, so true. And it's funny, you and KC left all the old dogs out of there, bro. So no Bill Russell, no Will, no 100-point Will, no.
And that's the thing though, like, and that's art, because I really think about it, like I didn't really know about those guys. Like I had to go do homework, I had to go research those guys. Like we grew up watching the Kobe's, the Allen Iversons, the Dwayne Wades, the LeBrons. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, that's just more relevant. Like I don't take nothing from those guys because I know the OGs, like those guys were thumping. That was way more physical. That was like, you know what I mean? That was like a whole different type of game. So when you mention those guys, I don't take nothing from it. Like even Kevin Garnett, some of the greats, you know what I mean? Like if they're in your top 10, bro, it's tough to have a top 10 sometimes. But in the top 3 or 5, usually you're gonna have the same guys.
The same guys in the conversation. And you bring up a good point. When you're trying to list your top 10, it's hard to even talk about the guys that we didn't grow up watching because we really don't have any objective input on that. So like I appreciate that take. I appreciate that. That's a good way to put it.
Like for example, bro, like Little Tone, if you ask Little Tone, like he's probably gonna be like Curry and LeBron, John Morant, like Carmelo,
like
Dwayne Wade. Like what? Like, you know what I mean? Like them young boys don't mess with them. So it's like the same thing for us. Like when OGs try to tell us how good Bill Russell was, how good Oscar Robertson was, how good Will Chamberlain was, like we're like, yeah. But the way the way the athletes are today, and the way the elevation of the game and the skill is today, it's like, bro, like it's just what I see is just the beautiful journey of basketball and how far they've taken it since it was first made into where it is now. Like you can't allow these athletes, like guys like Dwight Howard, Zion Williams, with that crazy athleticism to go at each other. They were the way they were going at each other in the 90s.
It's going to end quick. Like all their careers are going to end too quick. They jump too high. They're too strong.
You know what I mean? So they didn't prepare. They didn't train themselves. They didn't have the science. They didn't have the plyometrics, the systems of like protein and all these, the way they have these labs nowadays for athletes. Like they didn't have that back then. No. They weren't preparing the same, you know? So at the same time, when you look at the Dr. J's and those guys that were so high elevated, it just shows you how much they put into it. Because at that point, they were really shining above all the rest when they didn't have that. They didn't have near as half the resources that we have today.
Yep, and I agree with that point, and I feel like basketball is in a great place right now because it's a better thing that dudes 1 through 5 can shoot a 3-pointer. That makes the game, you know, because obviously all these athletes are gonna be able to dunk, you know, all these big guys are gonna be able to dunk. But when they can stretch the floor and dribble a little bit, that make Kevin Durant's make the game exciting. Dirk Nowitzki's make the game exciting, bro.
Yep. And it's a European influence, like since Dirk and since like Kukoc and those stretch fours and European fives come into the NBA, they changed the game, bro.
They did.
They changed the way the game is played. And another thing I want to mention is like when you think about ourselves, like, bro, when we were in high school, like we barely had like MySpace, you know what I mean? Like we had to go to Las Vegas. We had to go to Arizona to see the best players in the world. Like now,
there was no Baller's Life website, you know,
Overtime, Hoop Mixtape, all that, like Bleacher Report, like look how much the game is covered now. You know what I mean? Look at a guy like LeBron who went from like all we used to see LeBron was on Slam Magazine. When we seen him on Slam Magazine, and then the one game he played on ESPN. That's the only time you could see him. Like you had to be at your TV at 7:00 when his high school played.
As opposed
You
to
know what I mean?
As opposed to these days, we see every Zion big dunk as he's coming up. Zion's a star and can get a Nike deal in high school if he wanted to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean,
Crazy.
crazy.
That's what I love about basketball right now, and how far like even ourselves and those guys before us help these younger generations, and especially a guy like LeBron being one of those guys to come out of high school and change the game in the sense of like he opened the doors for all these younger players to have that power over teams. To have more control over owners. Like, you're not just going to tell me where I want to go. I'm going to dictate some of who I want to play with, how you're going to pay me. You know what I mean? So
people know that's bigger than people know, man, because
exactly.
And he paved the way because people hated on him for that. But in the grand scheme of things, that's big for athletes moving forward, bro. You're absolutely right.
So all those guys all these new guys, because of guys like that open the door, the LeBrons, the Kobe's, the Kevin Garnett's, you know what I mean? Those young high school studs, like, you needed those guys to go through all that and not be able to have that to now have what they have today.
Definitely.
So,
I love that take, Jay. I love it. And so we're going to get off the top 10 of all time. Everyone's top 10 is their top 10. Fans, if you got anything to say about Jay's top 10, let them know in the comments. We got to keep the comments going. But we're going to move to the last topic. We're going to talk Lakers, dude. We're going to talk Lakers. There's been circulation of AD finally getting back in the gym. It was said he hadn't shot since April. Now, Jay, you are an actual hooper. You do this. So I need your input on, is that a normal thing for AD to, after the season, not pick the ball up till, 2-3 months later? Like, take the summer off? Is that normal?
I think that in some guys' careers, at certain points, when you're starting to play for certain things and more pressure comes, your mental state is the most important thing. Like, you don't want to burn yourself out mentally. Yeah. And some guys like LeBron, like I just seen LeBron, he's working out with Kevin Love. Like, you know what I mean? And the season just got over. Like, guys like that, that's their therapy, you know? And I think AD, man, I'm sure he's not doing anything. I'm sure he's working out. I'm sure he's maybe running and swimming in his pool, you know, getting some type of sweat. But as for basketball, a guy like that, for him to step away is probably going to be it's going to benefit him in the long run, because when he comes back to it, and when you dive and you when you throw yourself into something fully, it takes everything. You can't have any distractions. You can't be 99.9% in. You have to be 100% in. So I think that when a guy like that takes a step away, he's going to clear his mind. And when he comes back, he's going to work 1,000 times harder, because you don't want to be the guy that's like pretending to work and go through the motions when you really don't want to be there. Yeah.
And you know what? That's good perspective, because everybody, no matter what they do, they get vacation days. You know what I mean? And if you've been hooping, like he's been hooping his whole life, it's Anthony talking about. So I love how, because at first I was like, oh, you know, the casual fans gonna be like, AD, we need you making these jumpers, bro. We need you making these threes. But if you really think about it, you got to step away from the game if you in it for the long haul, so you ain't burnt out. So I agree, Jay. I agree with that.
But at the same time, it's like, I could see like a guy, because look who his teammate is, bro. It's LeBron James, bro. So you don't think LeBron is going to be on top of his teammates? Like, you don't think LeBron is going to be like, okay, if that's best for you, I support you. If he felt that if AD needed to get into the gym right now and work hard, like, he'd be like, bro, you need to get in there and work hard. I need you to come in the gym with me.
Exactly.
So obviously, I think that something is with his mental, and you got to think, bro, like, man, we sit here and talk all this smack, bro, like, and these guys, man, like, even like a Westbrook guy, like when you're playing in LA, first of all, that pressure of winning championships and having that microscope on you, that's a lot of pressure, bro. And, you know, sometimes you got to get your mind right, because if you don't, you're going to melt. You're going to break down when it gets time to, you have to perform. So, yeah, man, I think that for him, maybe that's the best thing he needs.
Okay. And going to Westbrook, because we're going to talk about what the Lakers need to do this coming up season before we get out of here, Jay. Russell Westbrook. Now, in your eyes, the best thing we should do is, because, okay, everyone will point to the fact that they only had, not even 20 games together, Russ, LeBron, and AD. People want them to run it back. How do you feel about that, though?
Well, I feel two things. I feel that, one, I feel like you got to look at the good in Russell Westbrook in the sense of the positive in him and how good he still is and how good he is above a lot of other options you might go out there and look for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a Hall of Fame player you're talking about. You know what I mean? So that's what I will say. Two, if you are just done with Westbrook, then you got to make sure you get something good for him. You know, like young youth, 3-and-D type guys, like high level shooting type guys. And I think we mentioned the last show, you talked about like Indiana Pacers with those young guys and the type of pieces that you need. So if you're going to get rid of him, man, like just make sure you get something good. But I really don't want to see him go. I think that he still has something to give. And like, I know we mentioned this before in the sense of like nowadays they break the teams up so fast that they don't give time to really build. And I think that all this smack talking, all the disappointment with a roster that heavy, if you get those guys back in again and you put the world against them and it's us against the world type mentality, I think that they can produce. I think that they'll figure it out.
I think so too. And I also think the main problem last year was AD's health. Like AD is that player, offense and defense, that makes the wheels turn. And him being hurt, you couldn't really get the full production from Westbrook because he kind of had to play that, he had to play that second scorer role. We couldn't really see what he does when LeBron and AD are out there. How does he facilitate to them? How does it work out? You know what I mean? So I can't wait to see.
Yeah, and another thing is, bro, it's tough to play with a guy like LeBron James, bro. Like, especially if you're coming in as Westbrook. Like, I've been the man pretty much. I played with KD, but besides that, like, even when Russell Westbrook was KD, he led shot attempts. Even when KD got scoring titles, Russell Westbrook still had more shot attempts than him. So a guy like that, where his confidence is so high, you have to change your mentality and your role as a player. And like, even look at a guy like Carmelo, one of my favorite players. He's shown you that he's been the man. And now since he went to Portland, his role changed. He's willing to change his role. And I think Westbrook needs to take a little bit of that and then realize, like, bro, if I sacrifice some of myself to be that, we can win. And I can get the ultimate championship goal that I want.
Yo, and that being said, because I've talked to Thomas a lot about this, how do you feel about him coming off the bench? I know that's something he wouldn't accept, but I feel like he's best. He'll get utilized the best if he's running the show against second units instead of trying to trade off with LeBron, right?
Yeah, no, I think that because the thing about Russell Westbrook is like his game style, he's like a smaller LeBron.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He just can't shoot as good as LeBron, but he's a smaller LeBron. So I think that's a great idea because, like you said, give him a second unit. When he goes in, it's his show. It's his time. Yeah. And also that what that does is like teams know, like, bro, the Lakers second unit is no joke. You got Russell Westbrook leading the charge.
And not only is he coming off the bench, he's going against other second units. It might make it easier, it may be a easier transition, bro. But like, Jay, I appreciate your input on everything. I'm gonna get out of here. But before we get out of here, bro, we gotta recognize that it's Father's Day. My boy Jay is now in the Daddy Club. Happy Father's Day, Jay. I got to cheers to you, bro.
Hey, thank you, Tone. Cheers, my boy.
Cheers, brother. And is there anything else you got to say to the fans before we get out?
Man, I just want to say, also let me say Happy Father's Day to all the great dads, especially your dad, Tone, Mr. Cook, all your uncles, all my coaches, all the people that came in my life, in our life as a family, all those uncles and dads that helped guide us to keep us out of trouble. And now that I'm a dad, man, I realize, like, it's my turn to give it back. And so I just look forward to that journey, bro. And, like I said, congratulations again on this being the 100th episode for the Faithful Fan Show.
Yes, sir.
And make sure y'all keep subscribing and liking to this show, man, because this is my boy's show. And I think that it's a great thing. And I look to watch you grow it. You know what I mean?
Bro, I appreciate and love you, Jay. Thank you so much for spending time with me, bro. Hey, fans.
Hey, anytime, Stone. Anytime, bro. It's my pleasure.
Yes, peace. Sir. Hey, fans, until next time. Dun, 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 dun.
Rookie in the paint, going hard with the vet. Shot so much, man, I think I need a leg. I need a leg in the paint, going hard with the vet. I need a leg so much, man, I think I need a leg. Animal, MC Cannibal, rap Hannibal. Here to change the game, mainframe, all y'all programmable. Coaching on tracks, balling like a paper like Phil. I'm obvious and real, my rhymes convict and heal. A world blind, my lies a red pill, real. Ball like I've been here, rookie in his prime. Focus like Jordan the second time. Kobe in playoff time, you know fully when I drop. Call for it, Kelly go in the blaze, spit. Auto like free throws, Vahito. loose stroke magic. Rhymes over all y'all like dirt for two. Ricky in the game, insane, coming for you. GGB the crew. Ricky in the paint, going hard.